Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Teresa, this is Lost My Thread. Today I'm going to be talking to you about my most worn me-made items from the winter of 22 to 23. It's my me-made winter greatest hits. I started this series in the autumn of last year where I rounded up the things that I'd worn the most the summer before, and then I followed it through with my most worn autumn makes, and now I want to talk to you about what I've worn most in the winter. I think it's really interesting and useful for me to look at not only what I'm enjoying making and what I'm excited about in the moment when I make a garment, but what are the things that I'm actually reaching for again and again. I actually started a spreadsheet in the winter, so I have actual figures. I know for sure these are the items that I wore the most. And I think it's useful for me to look at what is it about those things that's making me want to wear them, and that can help me to plan my sewing in the future. Now you do have to draw a limit to these things, and so I've sticked with the 5 most worn me-made items of the last season. I will be starting with number 5 being the one that I have worn the least, number 1 being the one that I wore the most out of these things. Before I get to that though, I feel like I need to just mention the one item that I'm not including, though if I was going to, it would be probably number 2. Is this Kelly Anorak. So the reason I didn't include this is a coat that I have made. It's the Closet Core Kelly Anorak. It's made in this waterproof waxed cotton fabric. I made it fully waterproof with all the seams. I quilted the lining inside, and I quilted the lining of the sleeves in like a viscose. I really do like this coat a lot, but the reason I'm not counting it as one of my most worn me-made items is because frankly, it's my only winter coat that I have. It's my only me-made winter coat, but I don't really wear any of my other ones anymore. So if it's cold and I'm going outside for any length of time, I'm grabbing this, but it's not necessarily because it's what I would reach for had I a whole variety of coats. It's what I have available. Now, I think when I do have more me-made winter coats in my wardrobe, it'll be interesting to see which ones I reach for more than others. But for now, just know that I wear this Anorak a whole ton. I do love it, but I didn't really feel like it was fair to say that I chose it for fashion reasons so much as practical reasons, so I'm not counting it. Now, I was very amused when I was gathering up all the clothes to talk about in this video. Because these are my top 5 me-made items over the last winter, I am wearing them a ton, I'm wearing them all the time, and literally every single one of these items I had to pull out of the dirty laundry and iron it to be able to show you guys, because I wore it recently, because I'm wearing them all the time. Number 5 then is my Concord Tee. So this is the Concord Tee by Cashmerette. A little bit tricky to show you just here as it is. It's in this really beautiful, I would call it like a slate gray. It's a slight blue, but definitely a bit more of a gray tone. It's a cotton modal spandex that I got from Blackbird Fabrics, but I hacked a turtleneck onto the top of it. And I will say this fabric is really lovely and very soft. It has a little bit of drape to it as well. It's very warm, I have to say, and it works so well for the turtleneck. I have at some point plans to talk through all of the Concord hacks that I have done, because I have done a load of them, but this is the one that I have been reaching for the most in the winter. Not hugely surprising because it's obviously going to be really cozy and warm. What I really like about this top as well, in addition to just the fact that it fits me great, it feels really comfortable, I feel like it's very adaptable. So I can wear it on its own, which I do often, but it also works well for layering. So layering things like my vest over the top that I made recently, the Murcot vest by Cashmerette, layering over sweaters and jumpers, layering over cardigans. I feel like this works pretty much whenever, wherever I need it to, and so that is why it has been such a huge staple in my wardrobe. I know that t-shirts are always going to be a great basic for me, and I feel like this one's just a little bit of a notch above the edge, being that extra cozy, and I do think I'll be having to make some more turtlenecks for next winter because I have loved wearing them this year. Number 4 is the Valdivia Sweater by Alissah Threads. This was one that I had spotted, and I really loved the sleeve in particular was what stood out to me about this. I made this in this gorgeous fabric. It's called the Canadian Ottoman knit fabric. It's such a lovely color. It has a really nice weight to it. It's very nice and warm as well. It's quite a thick knit fabric, and so it's been keeping me really cozy. What I do really love though, honestly, it is these sleeves, and it's not just the look of them, which was the main thing that drew me to it, to be completely honest with you. I loved the look of the sleeves. I thought the balloon sleeve seemed really fun, but what really stands out to me is that when I had the extra thickness in the gathering around the wrist, It keeps my wrists extra cozy and warm. I feel like it traps the heat in a really wonderful way, but also because there's all that volume in the sleeve, it means that I can then put more voluminous sleeves inside it, so I can layer over dresses and tops with their own puffy big sleeves that aren't as easy to layer normally. And so I feel like it's then worked a little bit further than a lot of the other sweaters in my wardrobe by having that detail going for it. I like the shape and the fit of this one as well. It's not too fitted, but it's not too huge and boxy. So I do feel like it layers really well. I've even enjoyed wearing this just over a dress to make it look more like a top and skirt combo. But this one has been one that I have reached for. I think the color is gorgeous. The fabric is so lovely. The quality is amazing. I genuinely wouldn't mind having a whole wardrobe of different colors of these because I could see myself wearing more and more. And I'm actually planning to make another one this month in a different fabric and a different color because I clearly do like this one and I think I need more. Number 3 are these trousers. Now, it did surprise me a little bit that these were my most worn trousers. These are the Ultimate Trousers by Sew Over It, made in a really lovely soft stretch needle cord that I got from Sew Me Sunshine. I think what makes this one the most wearable trouser in my wardrobe, the color is great. I mean, definitely, I do really like the color. The fit and the shape are really nice, but it's really, one, the fabric is just extra snuggly, soft and comfortable, but 2, it's the side zip. Now, I talked about these trousers in my Clash of the Patterns Topmost Trouser tournament. These didn't win that tournament, and the side zip I actually saw as a downside because I find a side zip really awkward to put on and, you know, unzip and take down when I'm going to the bathroom and things. But what's been really interesting is wearing these trousers compared to wearing trousers with a fly at the front. When I sit down and I move around, bend down and crouch, the side zip is a lot more comfortable than anything with a fly front. Even in stretch fabrics, I feel like you cannot beat the comfort of a side zip and nothing pushing into your tummy. There's no button pushing into your tummy. It's just flat and smooth and soft. And especially when it's made in stretchy fabric, it is just so, so comfortable. So it's interesting the difference between when you first make something when you've actually worn it. I was really surprised that for me, the annoyance of unzipping and re-zipping the side zip is way less of a significant feature than having that fly front just sitting there whenever I'm sitting down. I don't undo my zipper and redo my zipper all that often during the day. I do sit down and stand up a heck of a lot though. I spend a lot of my time sitting down, and knowing that these are going to be more comfortable, it just meant that I was going to reach for them a lot more. So I was pleasantly surprised to find out that the Sew Over It Ultimate Trousers, I'm not saying they're necessarily my favorite trousers, but they really had something extra going for them. And I think I need to make more in some lovely stretchy fabrics because I know now that that's something that I actually find really comfortable in the day-to-day, and that's an important feature. Number 2 is one that I talked about in my top autumn makes, and I'm doing it as more of a general. My matching loungewear sets are definitely very, very well worn. So this one I've got here is a combination of the Closet Core Mile End Sweatshirt in this really lovely cozy colors, fleece that cotton sweatshirting. So this is the sweatshirt. And then I also have the Stella Joggers as the trouser portion. So the two together are a really lovely matching loungewear set. I actually have 3 loungewear sets in different fabrics, different colors. I wear them all pretty equally, to be honest. So I didn't feel like one particularly stood out, and it's more of a general concept that I felt like was worth mentioning. I know that I wear these a lot, but it's interesting just to see the figures of how much more I wear these. And part of it is because when I get in from work and I want to be comfortable, I change into my loungewear sets. I sleep in my loungewear sets, especially when it's cold, because it keeps me really nice and warm. I wake up in the morning before I get dressed, or if it's a weekend, I'll put on my loungewear sets. So I know they are just a go-to for me, and I wear them so much. But it was fun to see that they really do have that really like double the wearing of any of the other garments in my wardrobe. And the number 1 most worn me-made garment in the winter will probably not surprise many of you if you know what I made and you saw any of my Vlogmas videos. You probably saw me in my Billie Wearable Blanket. So this is a pattern by DIBY Club, Do It Better Yourself Club, and it is a ginormous hoodie pattern. It's an hoodie is the other term for it. That's like the brand name that this one isn't, but to give you the idea if you're familiar with those. This I got it made in this really gorgeous, it's like a Sherpa fleece on the back with a really lovely boucle texture on the front or on the outside. This is made from a polyester fabric. I got it from So Me Sunshine on their open day. I touched it, I felt it, and knew this was exactly what I was looking for. I also got some contrast cuffing so that way I can pull the sleeves up and they stay up. But this is basically, it's a wearable blanket. I don't know if it is technically a garment. I'm calling it a garment because it is technically really a sweatshirt, but it feels like a blanket. But this is so warm. This is what I was putting on all of those days where my husband and I were trying to not turn the heating on. We were trying not to freeze to death. He's got one as well, so we would be throwing on our hoodies, sitting there trying to get ourselves nice and toasty, and inevitably it would warm my body up even on the coldest days. So if you had been thinking about making one, if you've been finding that you've been really cold over the winter time, I cannot recommend this pattern enough. It is not the most glamorous looking thing. It is quite a ridiculous looking thing, but boy is it comfortable and boy is it cozy. I made mine relatively long so that way I can sit on the couch and I can tuck it around my legs and get fully snuggled up inside. When I'm feeling really cold, I actually pull my arms inside the sleeves to my body and help myself get all toasted up. But honestly guys, this Billie Wearable Blanket has been my go-to. There are very few days, I could probably count on one hand the amount of days in the winter that I have not worn this blanket. So yes, Billie Wearable Blanket, big hit in my household. So looking back over the last season, which garments that I reached for the most, particularly ones that I was wearing outside of the house, it's interesting for me to recognize what they have in common. So first of all, definitely lots of stretch fabrics, which is not hugely surprising. Stretchy knit fabrics in winter just make you feel extra cozy and comfortable. So I would have expected that. I would have anticipated that. But what was interesting to me that I wasn't necessarily expecting was how many would be solids. So I am someone who, I like patterns and prints. I like to use printed fabrics and solid fabrics. I feel like I've been trying to sew more with solids recently, just knowing how they can be that little bit more adaptable and versatile. And I feel like this is good evidence of that. So I know that these single items, they will mix and match well with prints or other solids in my wardrobe. And I feel like it just opens the doors a little bit more for me to be able to reach for them again and again. I'll be really interested to see how I'm able to incorporate these lessons into future plans. I will say particularly more leaning into the winter plans when next year comes around. I would love to hear any lessons you have learned from looking back at your own wardrobe over the last season. I think it's really nice to know which are the garments that people are really loving wearing, because for me, standing the test of time is what makes the best me-made garments. I really hope you enjoyed catching up about what I wore most this winter. Give me a like if you enjoyed today's video. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel if you want to see future videos, and I hope to see you soon. Bye!